Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the 10 Golden Rules of Online Marketing, version 10.0. My name is Jay Berkowitz, and we'll get rolling with the presentation now. I just want to make sure we're recording, and we are. And I'm going to share my screen. Like this. All right. Well, thanks for being here today. Once again, my name is Jay Berkowitz, and today we're going to go through the 10 Golden Rules of Online Marketing, version 10.0. I wrote the 10 Golden Rules of Online Marketing about 18 years ago, but since then we've been executing on our proprietary internet marketing platform called the 10 Golden Rules, and we've been doing internet marketing and applying the best practices of the 10 Golden Rules. So today we're going to learn what's changed. We're going to go through our 10 best case studies, strategies for SEO and pay-per-click, social media marketing, and I'm going to share with you some of the best new tools, some of the best things that are working phenomenally well right now for internet marketers. I'm going to share with you some case studies. I love these hockey sticks. I'm a Canadian, and the hockey stick, of course, is represented by the blade and the shaft of the stick. And this is one of our legal clients, and they used to get 1,000 or 2,000 visitors to the website. Now they get 8,000 or 9,000 on a regular basis. And they used to get 20 or 30 leads a month. Now we're into the 200, 250 leads every month. We're going to talk about ROI, return on investment, because it's not just about leads. It's not just about search results. Internet marketing is about clients signed. And so we're going to go through case studies where, we track very precisely from 30, 40 clients to 50, 60 clients a month. And we're going to talk about cutting edge things. This is so brand new. It's only come out in the last 10 days or so, and it's called Google Screened. And we're going to talk about a whole principle of how to beat your competition to market when brand new things come into the environment. So the history of the 10 Golden Rules of Online Marketing is that I started in traditional brand marketing. I worked for McDonald's and Coca-Cola. And then I got into technology. I saw the internet coming, and I knew it was going to change marketing. If I was a little smarter, I would have realized it's going to change the entire world. But I definitely knew it was going to change marketing. It was going to change my life, and it was going to change the marketing business. So I moved to Florida to work for a company called ediets.com. And I'll share with you a couple great case studies from eDiets. While I was at eDiets, I saw this guy speak, and he used to look like that, but now he looks more like that, a guy named Jeff Sabar. And he did this presentation, and it was the first time I heard anyone talk about your personal brand. And he said, think of yourself as a personal brand. Think of your resume as your marketing packaging. And so I knew that I needed to do some work on Jay Berkowitz's personal brand. And I developed this presentation called the 10 Golden Rules to share two real key things in my life. Number one, I'd worked in strategic marketing. I'd worked for McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Sprint, AT&T, and I'd worked on brand marketing. So I'd worked on the strategic stuff and the internet marketing piece. At Sprint, we were getting our customers their first email addresses, getting companies their first websites, and at eDiets, we were bringing 100,000 people a day to an online internet website. So I wanted to bring together Jay Berkowitz, the brand marketer, and Jay Berkowitz, the internet marketer. So I wrote a presentation called the 10 Golden Rules of Online Marketing. And I transitioned from eDiets to 10 Golden Rules when a bunch of people came up to me at the end of the presentation and said they'd like to hire me as a consultant. Now, one of those people was my first client, and she was very, very special in the life of 10 Golden Rules. And her name was Sherry Maxwell McConaughey. At that time, she was just Sherry Maxwell. And she came up and she said, Jay, that was a really great presentation, the 10 Golden Rules. We have a little costume store in Dania Beach, Florida, and we'd like to get our website going. And eventually we built that website up to $6 million in revenue. And I'm going to tell you the story a little bit as we go through this 10 Golden Rules presentation. Unfortunately, we just lost Sherry. She had a terrible incident in a hospital in Switzerland where she's living, and they screwed up on a surgery and everything got worse. So rest in peace, Sherry. Thank you so much for everything you did to launch our company, because she was my first client, and she came up to me at the end of the presentation and said she wanted to apply the 10 Golden Rules to her business, but she was a beautiful spirit and a beautiful soul. So without further ado, I'll sort of fast forward now. I started working with Sherry and another company that we'll talk about in the presentation. And we started the 10 Golden Rules of Online Marketing. And, you know, we started, I'm just going to check here and make sure we're all good. Everyone's good with audio and everything. Send me a question or a chat if we're not. I think we're good. I'm getting a couple bells ringing here, but so we started the company, the 10 Golden Rules, from that first meeting with Sherry and another company because they wanted help with their internet marketing. And today we're a combined company. We merged with Snap Agency in Minneapolis. We have about 30 full-time people who do internet marketing for our clients. But 10 Golden Rules, our 10 Golden Rules brand, is 100% focused on law firms and professional services. And then the Snap brand works on every other type of client. So we work with a bunch of law firms throughout North America, and we do SEO, pay-per-click, websites, social media, etc. But really the core of what we do is we apply the 10 Golden Rules strategy to your marketing services. It's a proprietary system that helps improve your internet marketing. And as I said, my name is Jay Berkowitz, and I've been doing this for a long, long time, but we founded 10 Golden Rules in 2003. And this is the new updated version of the 10 Golden Rules, version 10.0. So without further ado, let's get going with version 10.0. And golden rule number 1 is there are no rules. And what I mean by that is I came from traditional marketing. I did advertising, $40 million for Coca-Cola, $50 million for McDonald's restaurants. And what we did when we did that kind of marketing is we applied the rules, meaning billboards. You didn't want to have more than 5 or 6 words on a billboard because people are driving quickly on a highway. And so we didn't know what worked. We didn't know how much it worked, but we knew it worked. I mean, we knew marketing worked. And we did focus groups. That was one of the rules. If you had a new product or a new campaign you were bringing to market, you got 6 or 8 people in a boardroom and you sat behind the glass, the one-way glass, and you asked them a bunch of questions. And we used to think that, you know, these folks understood marketing and understood from a couple pictures what a commercial would look like. And, you know, you could get some indication as to whether or not they liked a concept or whether they liked a price. But, you know, there's nothing like the real world. And so the beauty for me of the internet and internet marketing is that you weren't kind of guessing or applying these basic general traditional marketing rules. You could actually test things very precisely and know exactly how they're working. So one of my first clients is called LifeScript, and we'll talk a little bit about their case study as we go through this. And they had this banner here on the left-hand side, and it was their best performing banner. Now this banner got about 1% click-through rate, which today we'd love a 1% click-through rate because banners get very, very low percentage engagement. But we tested a whole bunch of different banners. And this was one of our first projects as a 10 Golden Rules agency. And we developed about 50 different banners. So the best performer that they had, the sort of control, was this Vitamins Give Me Strength. And we tested the exercise one. We tested the contrarian, like donuts are bad for me, so that's why I need vitamins, because I eat poorly. And we tested this one here with the doctor or nurse. And we tested this one, why do you want vitamins? Now, I'd love you guys to go into the chat and tell me which one you think won. So we had the Vitamins Give Me Strengths was the controller, and which one was the best performing banner when we tested it in the marketplace? Was it the exercise, the donuts, the nurse, or the why do you want vitamins? And you can just open the chat box and check that out. I'm just gonna find the chat box here on my controller. Okay, we got nurse. Hopefully you guys know how to find the chat and you can vote. Okay, so the best performer was actually this woman, sort of multi-ethnic, very pretty, and we asked a question, which was a really good way to involve people in a banner. We had multiple calls to action or multiple clickable elements. So I eat poorly, I want more energy, I want mental sharpness. So the radio buttons, they don't let you do that anymore, by the way. And we had this clickable little link, so get a free vitamin profile, and we had a clickable looking banner. Now we thought we'd solved the world. We thought we'd cracked the code, if you will. And this was gonna be the amazing results for LifeScript vitamin advertising, because we could use this pretty woman in all of our advertising, all of our emails, all of our landing pages on our website, and she would work like crazy. And it worked, right? Like you can tell from where I'm going with this, that it wasn't that simple. Because even though this banner worked 2 times, 100% better, it got a 2% click-through rate compared to our best performing banner. It was the magic of the combination of the question and the banner and in this format, it worked phenomenally well. But when we tried her on landing pages and other banners and emails, she didn't work so well. And then we tried like 50 different photos in this same banner, and she still worked really, really well. So the moral of the story is, there are no rules in internet marketing, but you can do testing and you can get very, very precise results. For example, we test things like going to the home page versus going to a landing page, adding video, adding forms, adding phone numbers, very, very precise kind of testing. We put tracking in place so we can track phone calls using tools like CallRail. We did a whole webinar on marketing technology tools. We put the chat box in place so we can track chat, and we know exactly how many people who came to a website or a landing page, filled out a form, did a phone call, or did a chat. And then we can track that super precisely. And we know to the penny which Google campaigns got how many conversions. And the most important thing is, what is the cost of conversion? What's the cost for a lead for someone filling out a form, doing a chat, or completing a form on the website, or doing a call? And then we can track this very, very precisely: the calls, the call percent, the qualified chats, the chat percent, the forms, the form percent, and how many total leads and how many signed clients. So very, very important that we can track we can measure and we can track to the penny. So golden rule number 1 is really all about measurement. The difference between the traditional marketing, where we sort of guessed at the rules, and the sort of new is that the new internet marketing is we can measure everything to the penny. So forget what you know about marketing and measure precisely, measure conversions and clients. This applies for your Google campaigns, your site design, landing pages, calls, chats, forms. And there's no bad ideas. And the one PS I would add from all the years of doing this, and we're about 18 years now of developing these best practices of 10 golden rules, is that it is hard work. And what I mean by that is that you can't just like do one landing page test and you're done. You have to do a lot of testing, develop a testing calendar. And really that's the secret to internet marketing. Now, golden rule number 2 is that the internet is not television. And what I mean by that is that television is a one-way medium. It plays a message, and it's very powerful. Don't get me wrong. TV is great because TV can have emotion, it can story tell. You've got pictures, you've got audio, you can bring a tear to someone's eye, you can have music, you can have dancing. It's a very powerful medium. But from a strategic perspective, the internet is a lot more like direct marketing because we apply the direct marketing principles. Like the Pareto principle. Vilfredo Pareto, in the turn of the early, I think, 1800s, analyzed all the people in his area in Italy, and he found out that 80% of the wealth was held by just 20% of the people who lived in that area. And the Pareto principle has proved to be true for business in almost every business instance I've ever looked at. And in the internet, it's sometimes even exaggerated. Like 90% of our revenue comes from 10% of our customers, or 99% of our revenue comes from 1% of the people who come to our website. So the Pareto principle is, how can we figure out who those people are and how can we directly market to those people? And Facebook and Google have this product called custom audiences. And what we can do is if we match all the people on Facebook with our email list, we can create a custom, what's called a custom audience. You can do the same thing with Google, and you basically upload your email list to Facebook, and you find all the people in your audience, people who've bought your product or signed up for your newsletter or have been to your website or have opted in for something on your website. And then you match those folks with Facebook. They get about a 50% match, and then you can create a lookalike audience from those people. So it becomes very, very powerful. All of these years in traditional marketing, we wanted to be able to target people who are exactly like our audience, who are exactly like our customers, and now we can do it with these custom audience tools. Don Peppers and Martha Rogers coined this term called IDIC: identify, differentiate, interact, and customize. And what that means in a direct marketing sense is we want to identify those best customers. We want to differentiate how we treat them. We want to interact with them in a two-way basis, and then we want to customize their experience. Now, we're all familiar with Amazon, and Amazon does an amazing job of this. So when we go to Amazon, we get this sort of customized experience. Hey, Jay Berkowitz, we have recommendations for you. Here's Jay's Amazon. Here's something special, some special deals for me. And they're recommending books all about internet marketing. So obviously this is customized for Jay Berkowitz. So they've identified me. Hi, Jay, welcome back. They've differentiated, IDIC, differentiated my experience. They're interacting with me and they're customizing my experience. As a matter of fact, if I do look at one of these books and I don't purchase the book, Amazon's gonna send me an email with a reminder later in the day. Hey, Jay, did you forget to purchase this book? And we can do a lot of those same things today in our marketing for professional services and other types of marketing. For example, on LinkedIn, you can identify your customers. So you can go in and you can say, okay, I want to identify lawyers who own their own business in South Florida. And then I can build a target list for other people that I'd like to build a relationship with using the filters in LinkedIn. I mentioned multivariate or A/B testing earlier in the day. We just had an amazing success story of testing our old landing page, which was had been tested. It was like version C of our best performer. So we did an A/B test, and then we did a B/C test, and then we created a new version of A, and then we tested A versus D. And we just completed this test, and we got the version A got 1.187% conversion rate. The new variant D got 8% conversion rate. That's a 581% improvement. And the system software is telling us there's a 100% confidence level, 100% chance that B is always going to beat A. Now for the next little exercise, I want you all to do a little bit of work. And I apologize, you didn't want to come to a webinar to do grade 9 math. But what I want you to do today is just fill out this form. And I apologize, you don't have the form in front of you, but you can just use a calculator or use your computer. And I want you to do these calculations. Now, by the way, this is a worthwhile exercise because we're going to learn the most important calculation that we do in internet marketing. So let's say, for example, we started a campaign and we had a new lawyer client. And the client said their advertising budget was $6,000. So in month one, we're going to allocate $2,500 to Google, $1,500 to Yahoo Bing, and $2,000 to Facebook. And in month one, again, we're going to get 150 leads from Google, 65 from Yahoo Bing, and 180 from Facebook. And what I want you guys to do is take a minute and fill in the form. And what I want you to do is calculate what's the cost per lead or cost per sale. Now it's the same calculation. So like, let's say on our website, 10 Golden Rules, a lead would be someone saying they'd like to have a meeting with us to talk about our internet marketing services. So they fill out the contact us form, or they download the 10 Golden Rules ebook. So those are leads. But if somebody purchases one of our books on the website, that's a sale. But it's exactly the same calculation. How much did we spend in advertising to bring someone to our website, and how many people took an action? So what you want to do is you want to divide the number of leads or sales by the cost and figure out the calculation. So if anyone has a guess, they can put it in the chat, and then we're going to complete the form. And by the way, you want to complete the total across the bottom as well. Give you just 30 seconds to complete that and see if someone wants to take a crack at the quiz. Okay, so here's the results. And a lot of people make the mistake of they add up the cost per lead or the cost per sale. But what you need to do is you need to recalculate. So our total spend was $6,000, our total leads was $395, and our cost per lead was $15. So I actually give this test to every applicant at 10 Golden Rules. And I want them to complete the form and get it right. And then I want to see if they understand what it means and ask them, what would their recommendation be for the client in month two? So let's walk through it. If we spent $2,500 on Google and we got $17 cost per lead. Now a lead for like a professional services or a law firm would be someone filling out a form, making a phone call, or filling out the chat box. So it's $17. If on Yahoo it was more, it cost us more to get a lead, $23. So not as good, right? And Facebook was the best. It came in at $11. And our blended cost per lead was $15. So I say to the prospective employee, what would you do in month two? What would your recommendation be to the client? And the winning answer, by the way, is some people say I'd put everything into Facebook, $6,000 in Facebook and get the most number of leads. But generally that's not the right answer, because we know from Google that some keywords, some ads, and some landing pages probably came in at $5 a cost per lead. And some pages came in at $100, or some keywords didn't get any conversions. They got lots of clicks and no conversions. They cost us hundreds of dollars and got us no leads. So we know that if we refine Google, it's going to perform even better over a couple months. And if we refine Yahoo, we might get a little bit of success, but for the most part, we're going to cut Yahoo down. And then we're going to put a little bit more budget into Facebook. So typically what I like to see is someone would take, let's say, $500 or take $1,000 out of Yahoo and put it in Facebook, and maybe leave Google the way it is, or put 500 in Google and 500 in Facebook. And then we're going to bring the overall cost per lead down by using better keywords, better ads, better landing pages, better offers, and better media. So understanding marketing math is really important, because this is the key factor we want to understand. The cost per lead or the cost per sale, the cost of a conversion from the internet to an opportunity that we can sell. So golden rule number one was there are no rules. And really that was about the measurement, right? We talked about all different kinds of tracking. And golden rule number two is really about the math, okay? And a common mistake is to use the television strategy. And television is really nice. Like it's a one-way medium. It builds the brand. But I don't know precisely how things are working. So on the internet, I use the Pareto principle, which is the 80-20 rule. I try and figure out what are the characteristics of my customers, and then I market to those people specifically. I create custom audiences on Facebook and Google, and I use the IDIC, identify, differentiate, interact, and customize. I identify my best customers, I differentiate how I communicate with them, I interact with them, and I customize the communications. And finally, I use direct marketing methodologies. So the internet is more like direct marketing, meaning we identify our best performer, our best banner, our best landing page, our best Google keywords, and we use more and more keywords like those keywords, and we do a lot of A/B testing. And like I said, with those landing pages, we tested A versus B and A versus C and A versus D, and finally we were able to beat the best performer, the control, with number D. And finally, the marketing math. So you want to be able to understand exactly how you can calculate which is working better from the perspective of different media, different keywords, and different creative opportunities. Now, golden rule number 3 is create a UVP, a unique value proposition. Thanks, Laura. Audio and visual are good. Golden rule number 3, create a UVP, a unique value proposition. So a UVP is something on your website that's going to get people to engage at a higher rate, to get more conversions, to get more engagement, to get more trial, to get more opt-ins. So this was the famous UVP, the first one I ever was involved in creating at ediets.com. And it was the free diet profile. And basically we did, in my time there, like 1,000 different variations of this. And we used to say lose 10 pounds in 6 weeks or whatever it was. And then we got very precise and we would change the date every day. And we would say lose 10 pounds by a certain date. And you could pick your natural diet. But the heart of the UVP was the free diet profile. So we would say, begin with a free diet assessment. We'll create a custom plan that fits your lifestyle. And all we needed was, your gender, your height, your weight, and a couple basic questions. And we would be able to calculate the time it would take you to lose the 10 pounds. And we come up with all different kinds of results in the profile. So there was no one thing such as a free diet profile. We would interact in different ways. We would create different results that we would present as a free diet profile. But essentially it would be charts and the time to lose the weight, some recommended diet plans. And while the people went through, they signed up for our free newsletter. So about 100,000 people a day would come to the eDiets website. And about 1,000 people a day would sign up for the diet. So they'd take the free profile and they'd see that, oh, it's only like $12 or $14 a month. And they'd sign up for this online diet service, which would give them meal plans, shopping lists, meetings with the experts. But the secret here is the free profile, right? Because that got people to engage at a much higher rate. Like if on the right-hand side, we had, start the eDiets diet today, only $12 a month, we would probably get like a super small percentage of people signing up. But because we had the free diet profile, about 20% of people would start the profile. Super high engagement, anywhere between 10 and 20%. And all those people would fill out the information, give us their email address, get on our e-newsletter list, and then about 1,000 people would buy the diet. But the magic of the UVP, the engagement device, is an additional 1,000 people would buy the diet over the next 6 months. So they would start getting our newsletter, they would start reading case studies, learning from the experts, believing and learning about the experts and how they created our eDiets diets. And they would sign up over the next 6 months. And lots of people would sign up 3 years later, but the majority of people would sign up over the next 6 months. So the power of the UVP was we doubled our sales, right? Like if we didn't get people to opt into the UVP, we wouldn't have gotten an additional 1,000 sales. So we either doubled our sales or we cut our cost per acquisition in half. So creating a UVP is all about engagement. It's about improving your conversion and engagement levels on your website. Now back to our friend Sherry Maxwell, who was our first client. And when we started working with Annie's costumes, I recommended to Sherry that we create a UVP on the website, something that would get people to engage with the website at a higher rate. And so we used one of the simplest ones back in the day, which was a contest. And this is a screenshot from 2003. And so we said, win a plasma flat screen TV. And it's kind of funny when you look at it today, because obviously, you know, that TV probably cost $5,000. It was probably like 42 inches. And today you could get, you know, like a 72-inch TV for like $350. But back then that was a big prize. So we offered that in exchange for taking our survey. And all you had to do was tell us which costumes you liked or which costumes you liked for your kids. And with the survey results, we created the top 10 and top 20 lists for each different category of costumes. So boys costumes, girls costumes, babies costumes, adult costumes, sexy costumes. We did multiple different versions of these over the next few years. And the power of this was it created another UVP. So the contest was the first unique value proposition. It got people to engage, to take this quiz. And then the lists were another UVP. Because if you, let's say you came to the website to buy Harry Potter for your son. And here we have the list of the top 10 costumes for little girls. Well, maybe we're going to suggest the fairy princess costume or the kitty cat, and we'll get a second sale because of the UVP, because we got you to engage with something on our website. So there's no one kind of UVP. Like, this is a strategy. It's a philosophy, like all of these rules, right? The concept of a unique value proposition is to get people to engage with the website at a higher level. And this was the ultimate home run for me and Sherry, because we took these lists of the top costumes from our survey early in 2004, and we sent it out as a press release. And it got picked up by the USA Today, and it got on the full back section. We got this header on the front of the Life section and the full page on the back section. And we had a record sales day of the company that we never beat again. It was unbelievably successful because obviously back in 2004, there was relatively few newspapers, and people used to buy newspapers and read newspapers, and it was massively successful. So Sherry, I love you. I thank you for being our first client and giving us your trust in starting out. And if you read the original version of the 10 Golden Rules book, I actually dedicated the book to Sherry for all this testing that we did with our first client. May you rest in peace, my friend. So here's yet another UVP, 10 Golden Rules. We actually did some testing on our website called heat mapping, and we found out where people were going on the website. And I thought you would come to a website about internet marketing and SEO and pay-per-click, and you would go to the services page. But lo and behold, like 40% of people on the website wanted to read the 10 Golden Rules. That's part of why we're redoing and updating the 10 Golden Rules today. So we created a pop-up. We said, learn the 10 Golden Rules of online marketing. Download our free ebook today. So we knew what people wanted. Don't fight the system. Give them what they want. Make it super easy for them to get a short ebook version of the 10 Golden Rules. And they were able to download it. And we built our email list with opt-ins for people looking for the 10 Golden Rules. So again, it's an engagement device to give people what they want and get a higher engagement opportunity. And there's all kinds of examples of these on the internet. Progressive gives you price quote comparisons, Facebook, here's my buddy Brian Moran. He's got an opt-in here with a video to learn how to get 10,000 more fans, and all you have to do is click the like button. So he's trying to build his likes. Here's an accident handbook, and we've done dozens of these for lawyers with different types of information after someone's been in an accident. And of course, a great UVP is a free consultation, right? It's pretty standard, but think of it. What you're trying to do is get a much higher engagement. So we do different things, like we offer chat, we offer texting, different opportunities for people to engage with us on the website. So golden rule number 3 is to create a UVP. Now remember, this isn't just one thing, okay? It's not just a contest or an ebook or a calculator. You want to test different things because your goal here is to get higher conversion and higher engagement. The strategy is to get more involvement. My friend Jeff Walker has a great phrase. He calls it an irresistible bribe. If you said to someone like, the free diet profile, learn exactly how long it's going to take to lose 10 pounds, that's an irresistible kind of bribe for someone who's on a diet website. An ebook with, here's the 7 things that you need to know. And we know the 7 questions our customers ask us most frequently. We're giving them the irresistible bribe of the information that they want. And we're only asking for one thing, their email address, right? We use different things like calculators. You could come up with a case calculator. How long is your case going to cost, or what's the average value of a case? And people could give you some information, and you could give them some general parameters. A free ebook, a free software trial, contests. And so the goal here is to develop and test your own UVPs. And again, as I keep saying with all these strategies, this is not a one-stop sort of thing. You want to be constantly testing and developing different UVPs. Golden rule number 4, if you build it, they won't just come. So back in the early days of the internet, a lot of times you would get to websites and they'd be spinning and whirring and under construction. I mean, obviously that's the worst case scenario. But what I mean by that is if you build a website, you can't just sit around and expect people are going to show up. You have to push, pull, and drive people to your website. And this is what we call the internet marketing model. And this is a whole other webinar unto itself. But the basic concept is your website, whether we represent it from a desktop version or very important today, over 50% of versions are going to a mobile. So you've got to be very conscious of your mobile design and your mobile functionality usability. So we use this term in internet marketing and all marketing called a funnel. And, sort of philosophically, we're going to funnel people into our website. So of course, we're going to use Google paid advertising, Yahoo, Bing. This is representative of affiliate, email marketing, banners, feeds, social media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and different feeds and podcasts. And of course, SEO, search engine optimization. Again, we've done a couple whole webinars all about the ABCs of SEO, how to get the free SEO traffic to your website. So we're going to use multiple different vehicles, multiple different marketing strategies to get people to your website. And this is part of the implementation. When we start working with a client, we set up all these different things to get traffic to the website. And then equally critical is testing and measurement. So I talked a lot about that, the importance of precise measurement, doing this multivariate testing, testing version A, B, C, D of landing pages, refining the shopping cart or the sign up procedure. These little mini websites are representations of other websites linking to your website, very important for SEO. And this is representative of a follow-on email newsletter series. So let's say someone signs up for the 10 Golden Rules book. We can send them a series of mini case studies and information about internet marketing to hopefully ask them if they want help with one of their marketing projects. If they don't sign up from the e-newsletter series, from the follow-on series, we can send them our monthly e-newsletter. And then finally, this is kind of like the new evolution, is called remarketing. So if people come to your website and they don't sign up, you can show them ads on other websites. So you've probably seen that if you looked at a flight or looked at a pair of sneakers. When you go to the other websites, you see those ads all the time, reminding you to come back to the website. So the purpose here is to say that you can't just throw up your website and expect the millions to come pouring in. And so many people made that mistake back in the dot-com bust era, right? People would raise $20 million, spend $20 million building this great website and warehouse and infrastructure, but they really should have spent like $20,000 on their website and spent their $20 million on marketing to bring people to the website, testing to find out what works, the back end of remarketing and newsletters, refining their marketing strategies to the point of knowing the cost per acquisition, knowing your cost per conversion, and constantly improving it, and having a marketing calendar to execute against it. So that's really what we call the 10 golden rules internet marketing model when we get into the market. So just to sum up golden rule number 4, if you build it, they won't just come. A classic mistake that killed the dot-coms was they expected folks to just show up at their website. But you must push, pull, and drive consumers to your website. Pay-per-click, search engine marketing, the SEO, ABCs of SEO, architecture, the build of your website, backlinks, other sites linking to your website, and content that you add to your website. We have a whole other webinar. You can find the recorded webinars on the 10 Golden Rules blog if you want to learn all about the ABCs of SEO. Partner marketing works really well, working with different kinds of affiliates and integrating in your marketing, adding PR to the mix, adding social media, etc. We'll talk more about those kinds of opportunities. Okay, golden rule number 5. We talked earlier about LifeScript. They were one of our early success stories. And I mentioned that LifeScript, when we looked at those banners right off the top, we were asking people to take a free vitamin profile to find out how much better off they could be and which type of vitamins they needed. And if they took the free vitamin profile, we would send them a 1-month supply of these little vitamin packs, and it would be customized exactly for them. Now, when we just started out, we were advertising with partners, and it got very, very expensive in the early days of the internet. At first, we could get a partner to sell us a free vitamin profile, to get a consumer to sign up for a profile, and we'd pay them $15 or $20. But then it went up to, $50, $60, $70. And at that point, it got too expensive to send the vitamin box because our conversion percentages fell down. But one of the things we realized, if we could get people to just take the free vitamin profile and not get their credit card and not get all their information, and only get them to sign up for our newsletter, after a period of time, a high percentage of people would sign up for the vitamin trial and maybe even pay $5.95 or $7.95 for shipping. Then we would get their credit card. So the concept here is we needed to get people to subscribe. So we transitioned, we used the free profile as our UVP to get emails and get them subscribed to our newsletter or get them on the vitamin subscription. And then we transitioned to only getting them to sign up for the profile, to sign up for the newsletter. Because when they signed up for the newsletter, later on, they would take the profile and they would sign up for the vitamins. So the cost of getting someone to sign up for the vitamin trial was $50. The cost of getting someone to sign up for the newsletter was 25 cents. So the math started to work in our favor that we could get people to convert. Of course, the subscription model is critical on the internet. Of course, Blockbuster closed. We used to subscribe by buying a monthly Blockbuster card. And Netflix, with shipping the little DVDs to our mailboxes, Netflix made Blockbuster irrelevant because it was much more efficient to get those DVDs in your mailbox, and you didn't have to go to Blockbuster, and you didn't have to worry about returning them. That was the biggest problem back in the day. You could just pop them in your mailbox. But Netflix was really smart. They made sure that they didn't put themselves out, that no one put them out of business. They put the DVD business out of business by becoming streaming providers. And then they became content developers. But the secret here is subscription models, right? Blockbuster was a subscription model. Netflix developed a better subscription model. And then Netflix developed an even better subscription model. And think of it, your email newsletter list. That's a super powerful subscription model. This is our local barbecue place. And every once in a while, they send me these emails. And my wife says, hey, what do you want for dinner? And it pops in my head. Oh, I got a coupon from Lucille's for $10 off. So it's like a list that I signed up for 15 years ago, but they've probably had 20 or 30 sales just because it pops in my head. We can accomplish the same thing with professional services. Somebody who is your client 5 years ago, it's really, really critical that you get them on your email list, because you're going to do a great job for them. And whether you're a lawyer, an accountant, or an internet marketing company, or any kind of company, this is the most simple, basic marketing that you need to do. Send out a monthly newsletter. It's super easy, right? You're going to take your articles you're developing anyways for SEO purposes and drop them into your monthly newsletter. But it's also very important. You've got to be super conscious of capturing every email address from everyone you interact with. Very, very important. There's also other kind of subscriptions that are very important and powerful today. Even an opt-in of a like on a Facebook page. Remember I talked about the opportunity to develop custom audiences earlier on Facebook? We can identify who our customers are. We can advertise to the folks who click the like button on our page. We can show them information about the good things we're doing in the community, the big cases we win, the new hires, and other things happening that we're involved with in our local market. So getting lots of people to subscribe, to like you on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn is the modern subscription model. A lot of people don't want to get an email newsletter, but they'll follow you on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, whatever the social media flavor of choice. And here's another one. Think of this as one of the most important subscriptions you can get as a local business. When people do a review on your website, that's a super powerful opt-in subscription. They've said, you know, I did business with these people, and I like these people, because obviously you're gonna send the link, the review link, to people who had a good relationship with your company, and try and get lots of reviews. And it's very, very important for that the map SEO, because we see here that generally the people who come up in the 3-pack, so Google shows 3 map results, have lots of reviews, 61, 68, and 38 reviews. Generally, that's a big part of that mathematical algorithm. And again, we did a whole webinar on how to get listed in this map section, and you can find that on the 10 Golden Rules blog. So golden rule number 5, subscription models survive. Golden rule number 6, remember the 4 Ps: product, place, price, and promotion. Now, these are the classic 4 Ps from your marketing textbook if you took marketing in high school or university. Now, the first one, product. So Google has a list of all their products on their website, and things like web search and mobile and YouTube, Google bought YouTube, of course, are all termed as products, and there's product directors and product managers who work at Google. The reason for this explanation is that product marketing is a great way to think of your internet marketing. Think of your website as a product. Think of your landing page tests as a product. Think of your Google advertising as a product. Think of your SEO as a product. And think of it like a product marketing manager would think of it. Develop a marketing plan for the year. What's your marketing plan for your SEO? What's your marketing plan for your new website designs that you're going to test out? What's your marketing plan for your landing page tests? And assign different people to be the product managers of the different functions on your internet product. So think of it like a product manager. It's very, very effective. The second P is price. And typically what we see on the internet is a different price than in stores, right? Like free shipping, free returns, better pricing on the internet a lot of times because they don't have overhead. So the second P is price, and the internet price is generally less than the online price. I mean, it's so scary now that you can take this Amazon app and you can go into a store and you can scan a product and you can order it right there on Amazon with this app. So the internet is very, very powerful in terms of price. And the third P is promotion. Of course, we're going to do lots of promotion. And then the fourth P is place. And I talked about this a minute ago. So your place on the internet is location, location, location. So Google Maps becomes extremely powerful for taking advantage of the most powerful place you can be on the internet, right? Number one, these paid ads cost money. So the number one SEO result that we see when we do a Google search now is the map result. So you want to come up in the maps. And again, there's a whole webinar on how to optimize your Google Maps. Golden rule number 7, trust is golden. So this is Brendan Burchard, and he does a great thing here. He's got a little app on his website that shows other people, first of all, it shows 300,000 people like him on Facebook, but this is his website, but he's just got this Facebook app here. And it shows a bunch of people I know who already like Brendan Burchard. So he's building trust. So there's lots of trust factors or trust indications on the internet. How many fans do you have on your Facebook page? How many connections do you have on LinkedIn? How many people like your page? And then you can parlay that on your website. And of course, when it's professional services, we're going to use a lot of these trust indicators, or we're going to use indicators like the Chamber of Commerce or different associations we're a member of. And finally, this is pretty important. You've got to make sure your website is secure, HTTPS secure. And if you haven't upgraded your website to secure, Google for a couple of years has been saying that's a best practice, and it's definitely going to hurt your SEO, and it's going to hurt your traffic if you don't have it. Golden rule number 8 is use the right tactic. What we mean here is that there's no silver bullet for internet marketing. I've talked about 20 different scenarios here that we've used over the years to build different businesses and to find out what worked, but we tested our way there, right? So what we know is that different things are good for different objectives, different goals, right? If you want to build your audience, you're going to probably use some social media and some Google advertising. If you want to build relationships, you're going to use some social media, do some webinars, have some interactive type of things. Your newsletter is great for that. A quick case study, our second client, so after Annie's Costumes, Moniker.com is a domain registrar like GoDaddy. And our objective was, our goal was, we were supposed to get people to register for a domain at a cost of acquisition of $7. Now, domains back then sold for around $20, but their cost was $7. So they wanted every new customer that signed up, they wanted to break even basically, because over time people would buy more domains and they would obviously keep them for more than 1 year. So the second year would be profitable. Now the problem was the cost for the Google click on the keyword, register website or domain registration or website URL was already about $50 just for one click. And whenever you went and did a search, I mean, it was the same back then as it is today. When you did a search, the domain you were looking for is never available, right? So we had to get 5, 10, 15, 20 clicks on someone searching to register a website, to register a domain name, and it cost $250, $300, $400 using search advertising. So obviously paid Google was not going to bring in my cost per acquisition at $7. My client was never going to be happy. So we came up with multiple different strategies that were going to work. So one thing we did, or one of the first things we did, is we did a Pareto principle analysis. We figured out who Moniker's best customers were. And we found out that their best customers were people who had lots and lots of websites. So what we did is we went to places like the domain industry. We created the domain auction. We gave away a free website at the big trade shows, things like Affiliate Summit, where affiliates owned lots of websites, and Webmaster World, where webmasters had lots of websites. And we would give away a free domain through this roulette wheel, and the domain cost us $7, but we were, that way we were giving it away at our cost. And basically, you would either, everyone would win one free domain on a roulette wheel, or they could win 10, or they could win like a grand prize. We did a podcast to talk about our expertise and to talk about domain auctions and high value domains and domains as an investment and different reasons for having domains. So golden rule number 8 is use the right tactic. Paid advertising, it might be right for some people, but for Moniker, it wasn't the right strategy. And different strategies are going to work for different purposes. For example, Google is the best tool for most type of transactional lawyers. But then if you're more like a litigation attorney or a high-end business lawyer, you're not, nobody's going to search for like their high-end $2 million real estate contract lawyer on Google. They're going to ask around. So for that type of marketing, we do what we call thought leadership marketing, where it's much more about developing papers and studies and doing email newsletters and webinars and different marketing like this kind of marketing, where we position the company as an expert, and then we build their subscribers and build their communication on more of an ongoing basis. So golden rule number 8, use the right tactic. There's no silver bullet. You got to figure out which tactic is the right way to go. Golden rule number 9, the best never rest. Tony Robbins, the great motivational speaker and motivator, uses this term called CANI, constant and never-ending improvement. And that's a really great strategy for you as an individual, for your personal development, but it's also really, really important for your internet marketing. And I think I've kind of beaten this one up quite a bit in this presentation, where you realize that, just putting up, 10 keywords in your Google campaign is not going to work. On one famous campaign, they went through 368 keywords, and the 369th keyword was the great winner. And then once we had that keyword, we developed a whole bunch of strategies around similar types of keywords, and then we'd sort of crack the code. It's another term I use, crack the code, where you test, and then finally get a breakthrough, like the landing page I showed you earlier, where we got 8% conversion versus 1.5% conversion through testing. So one of the real strategies here, I would say, that we do in the 10 golden rules model is we calendarize your testing. So we develop a testing calendar and an ongoing testing program, so that we're constantly reminding ourselves which areas we need to improve in the marketing. So great marketers are constantly testing. CANI, constant, never-ending improvement. Sometimes just changing it and making it fresh. Like we just did a new website for a lawyer, and their conversion went up like 30–40%. And the only thing we did is sort of like a refresh on the website. It looks more contemporary, it works a little better on mobile, and we even made a couple mistakes on the website, but still it's like, and they're fixed now, but we're up like 30% just because we freshened it up, made it look contemporary. Lots of testing, making sure the site's credible. We talked about that, and trust. And then the Stanford University study said, what makes people trust a website or want to engage with a website? So it's got to be professional looking, well organized. You can't fill it up with crap, is what one person said, and it can't seem too commercial. And finally, golden rule number 10 is lead the trends. And if you remember way back when I was at eDiets back in 2001, 2002, when you used to be on the internet, all of a sudden you would get these pop-ups and you couldn't control it. But in the early days of pop-ups, as consumers, we'd be like, oh, hey, here's this free offer. I can get something free for 45 days. And we were novices to the internet. We'd click on these pop-ups and we'd engage, and we'd use them, and we'd get really, really involved. So in the early days, the pop-ups worked really great. They got about 30% click-through rate and super high conversion rates. Now, remember I said at that time, banners were getting a 1 or 2% click-through rate. Pop-ups were getting a 30% click-through rate. It was amazing. But very quickly, we got sick of the pop-ups. Not only was there one pop-up, sometimes there was 10, 12, 14 pop-ups. And so the pop-up marketers got really greedy. And as consumers, we said to our internet service providers and our virus companies, like, get rid of these pop-ups. So within about 6 months, pop-ups went from 30% success rate to, oh my God, I hate pop-ups. Any company that pops up, I'll never work with that company. So you had 6 months as a marketer to figure out how to use pop-ups, how to test them to see if they were going to work, and then probably to get out of it when pop-ups became a negative. Now, what if you said, oh, well, we'll check out pop-ups next month, or, we'll put pop-ups on the Q1 2021 marketing plan. What's going to happen? Well, you missed the entire life cycle of the pop-up as a marketer. Now, I'm not recommending pop-up marketing. It's not, it wasn't the coolest thing. It was a little predatory, if you will. But the message here is that you want to be on the leading cutting edge, and you got to find out what's new and what's working. And there's one I'm super excited about in the last 10 days, and it's called Google Screened. Something brand new. It's a whole new category that Google's just opened up for lawyers, financial planners, and real estate. Now, they previously had something that was available for in-home, for like plumbers, air conditioning, and different types of marketing companies, in-home marketing companies. But this is brand new, just released, and it's going state by state. So it's not even everywhere in the country yet. So what you need to do to take advantage of this is get screened. Because look, here it is right at the top of a Google search with a check mark saying these companies are screened or approved by Google. And it comes up on top of the ads, on top of the maps, on top of the SEO. So why am I so excited about this? Hopefully you can see my excitement through the screen. Because when you capitalize on something new like this, in 3 months, 6 months, all your competitors are going to figure this out. But right now, what you should do is wait to the end of the presentation and then go sign up for Google Screen. Because right now, there's only 2 personal injury lawyers in New York approved for Google Screen. We just got our New York client approved for Google Screen. So as soon as we get the ad set up today, we're going to be one of only 3 advertisers in this incredibly powerful spot right at the top of Google. And by next week, there's going to be 13, and the week after that, there's going to be 30, and then 300, and then 3,000, and then 30,000, right? The whole world will get screened. So this is an incredible opportunity. I mean, look at that. It dominates the screen on my cell phone, the 2 screen guys who show up here. So you got to get on top of this. Here's all the different categories. These are all lawyers, real estate agents, a bunch of categories for lawyers. And as I mentioned, financial planners are on there somewhere. So how do you do it? Well, it's part of Google's local, it's called Google, they call it local services. We're calling it Google Screened. I mentioned it's for attorneys, real estate, financial planners. The owner has to have a background check. You have to submit your state bar if you're an attorney. And here's the important thing. These are leads. These are not clicks. So it's actually a separate module. It's not actually part of the Google ads, and you pay per lead. So right now you're going to pay $61 for a lead in New York, $150 for a lead in Miami. I don't know why that is, but Google's obviously got the rationale. And you can either just search for Google Screened or go to ads.google.com/local services. I recommend it right away. We've been doing this for a while, but here's some evolution in chat. When we add chat to a website, we generally see 30% more leads. Why is that? Jay has his theories on all these things. I think that 5 years ago, when you used to do a chat with a website, nobody would answer. Like they link you back to the page you're already on. But over the last 5 years, we've gotten really, really good at customer service and at helping people with chat and understanding the questions that people are asking. As a matter of fact, we've created chatbots that are artificial intelligence that are even smarter than humans. And so when the chat pops up, it's, as I mentioned earlier, it's a UVP. It's like a free consultation or free help. And also a lot of people now are familiar with chat. And let's say they're overseeing their kids' schooling. They're not going to pick up the phone and talk about their aunt's car accident or mass tort problem in front of their kids, or the kids are watching TV or something like that. So they don't want to give their email address because God forbid nobody wants spam, and they're not going to call because they're doing something else, or they're in line at the bank. So chat now, because A, the consumers believes in it, and B, because it solves those problems of not filling out the form or not calling, grabs additional lead opportunities that weren't available. So here's the sort of best practices. The guys at Apex Chat, one of the chat companies we use, said that adding text can increase your leads up to another 20%. So you'll get 30% more leads by adding chat, 20 to 30%. Plus, you'll even get a delta on top of that by adding text. So we like the text box. Here's text on the website. You can, and I don't know why someone would text by a website, but they do. And here's another one, is adding an exit pop. So when someone comes up here to the X or the back button, and they're going to actually leave the site. So this is not really spammy, right? They're going to leave. You can't improve things. So you could pop a chat there and say, hey, how, you're about to leave. How can I help you? You can be very forward with the exit pop. We talked earlier about Google Map ads, of course, very valuable. Another thing, Google voice search. Over 50% of searches are voice by 2020. So what we're doing is we're optimizing our websites to ask and answer questions. Landing pages, adding video to landing pages can increase conversion up to 80%. Using video for SEO. We did a whole webinar on video. I believe it's last month. Again, you can find the recorded webinars at the blog. Here's an example of a viral video with 59,000 views. And finally, my strategy I call cascading content. This kind of wraps up a lot of things we've been talking about. And so what we recommend is we need to create content. So content is the C of the ABCs of SEO. We need to create content and articles on our website. So you upload one article a week in a very simple model for a month, one article a week of new, fresh content. So you're telling Google our website's always up to date, and you answer the questions that people have been asking. Answering questions, very good for that mobile search where we ask questions of Siri or Alexa, and very good for the new SEO algorithms, the semantic SEO algorithms. So we add the article to our website, one a week equals 4 a month, and then it can go out in our monthly MailChimp newsletter. Each of them can be summarized and added to our Google My Business, so your Google Maps, if you will. You can do a video. So what we do with a lot of our clients is we'll go in and do Q&A videos. We'll ask you like 8 questions. You'll answer 8 questions, or even better, collect 8 questions that your customers ask you all the time. And then we got 2 months worth of video. Those videos will be search engine optimized on YouTube. Google owns YouTube. They'll be dropped on your website, on your blog, on your Facebook, your Twitter, maybe TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, okay? And this is representative of a podcast. So anything can start a cascade, like a video can start a cascade, a podcast, a blog post could start a cascade, or even a press release, right? So the press release added to the website, and then it's cascaded throughout all your properties. Why is this so important? Well, this is so important because, let's face it, you have to do SEO. You've got to add new content to your website for search engine optimization. And I pretty much said you have to do an email newsletter earlier in our conversation. So you might as well combine those two things, right? Add the SEO articles to your website, do 1 a week at a minimum, 4 a month, go out in your newsletter. You need to update your Google Maps. You need to update your blog and your social media. So this is like the very basic program that we do for our customers, or I recommend you do for yourself. Answer 1 question a week. That's all you have to do. Add it as a blog on your website or as a video, and then send it out as your newsletter. Update your Google Maps and all your social media. So without more stories and case studies, let's wrap this up. 10 Golden Rules, version 10.0. Golden rule number 1, there are no rules. Not a lot's changed over the years, except, strategically, you remember that rule was all about measurement. And really the difference between old-fashioned marketing, where we had rules like how many words go on a billboard or how many GRPs in a TV commercial, in the internet, it's all about measurement. And we can tell precisely how different things are working, and then we know where to put our efforts and where to put our focus. Golden rule number 2, the internet is not television, is a strategic thing, because TV is a one-way medium, but internet marketing is a two-way medium, much more like direct response, direct marketing. So we measure everything we're doing, and we test different variables. We do A/B testing, and we understand the marketing math. Which variables are working better, whether it's a landing page test or a Google keyword. Golden rule number 3, create a UVP, a unique value proposition. A UVP is something on the website that's going to get higher engagement. So golden rule number 1 is about measurement. Golden rule number 2 is about direct marketing rules, not TV rules. And golden rule number 3 is about conversion, getting a higher percentage of people to engage with you when they come to your website. Golden rule number 4, if you build it, they won't just come. So golden rule number 4 is about the fact that you have to do marketing. You've got to bring people to your website. Golden rule number 5, subscription models survive. So we saw, the signups on things like eDiets and LifeScript were the lifeblood of that business, getting people to either sign up for the paid model or also signing up for the newsletter. And it's just as important today. If you have a huge newsletter list and lots of emails, we can take those emails and add them to Facebook and Google and create our custom audiences. And if you have lots of likes on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, you can market to your customers because you know who they are and they've opted in. And a lot of people would follow you on Instagram, but they would never give you their email. So those subscriptions, those likes, are the new subscriptions of the 2020s. Golden rule number 6, remember the 4 Ps: product, place, price, and promotion. Perhaps the most important one for a local business is your Google Maps. We talked a lot about that. Getting lots of reviews, setting up your Google Maps correctly. We did a whole webinar on that. You can find it at our blog. Golden rule number 7, trust is golden. So you need those trust icons and your site has to be secure. Golden rule number 8, use the right tactic. So different strategies: paid advertising, SEO, social media, newsletters, webinars, content marketing, thought leadership marketing, all different strategies for all different kinds of businesses. There's no silver bullet. No one trick works for everybody. The best never rest. Test, test, test is about developing a protocol, and we have all kinds of calendarized protocols in our 10 golden rules methodology that we use for our customers. And finally, lead the trends. We saw an incredible opportunity to jump into the marketplace with Google Screened, but the really important to subscribe to folks like 10 Golden Rules who we're constantly monitoring the marketplace and finding out what's working best for ourselves and our customers and bringing that to market as quickly as we can. Just want to wrap up with a couple thoughts. If you think this content is valuable for maybe one of your groups or your association or your local bar association or your Chamber of Commerce group you're involved in, I'd love to speak to your group. We can do it virtually by Zoom like this, or we can do it in person given the environment. And I'm recording this in 2020, so if you're watching this in 2023, hopefully COVID is a distant memory and we're all back meeting in person. How can we help you? So, it's a 2-part question. First of all, 10 golden rules. If I can help you, I'd be happy to do an analysis of your business and talk to you about how I can help. And personally, I have really great Rolodex. That's the old world for lots of LinkedIn connections and friends and other businesses. So if there's any way I can help you, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me, and I'll help you solve whatever it is if it's roofing or if it's internet marketing. And finally, I'll be happy to take some questions on through the chat. So you can just pop some questions in the chat. And I'm also going to put this link to my Calendly. This is a great tool, by the way. It's calendly.com. And if you click on my Calendly link, you can set up a meeting with me and I'd be happy to consult with you. So it's calendly.com/J-10 golden rules, RULES/strategy-session. If you're live on the webinar, you can click the link I'm going to send out. If you're not live, you can just sort of type this all in, and I'll look forward to getting together with you. Or you can also go to 10goldenrules.com and see how I can help. So with that, if we get some questions in the chat, I'll take a few questions. But typically this presentation is long and full of all kinds of stuff, and we tend to tire people out a little bit. So let me just get that link up there. Okay. Get this in the chat. And just give me 1 second. Take a few questions. My trusty dog Parker wanted to get in the room here. Okay, so the first question, you can either do a chat or a Q&A. Is from my buddy Lee Rosenthal. Hey Lee, how do I decommoditize my business? So Lee is in the hotel and restaurant supply business, and I think my recommendation would be what I call thought leadership marketing. And I'll give you a second recommendation, Lee. If I never recommended this to you before, I'll recommend it now. Let me see how my Zoom's coming up. So this book is called Built to Sell. And one of the things that he talks about is like that decommoditization. There we go, Built to Sell. Sort of coming up. And the author's named John Warlow. And basically what he talks about is moving away from being commoditized. And he has a number of great strategies in the book. So one of the things he might do for you would be to recommend the hotel optimization program. And it would be, Lee's hotel optimization program. And you'd go into a hotel and you'd recommend, a minimum of 10 ways they can save money, time, or efficiency. And then when that's done, a lot of those things would be things like, buying high efficiency LED lighting, that their employees will work better, you'll have fewer sicknesses, and the cost of the lighting will go down, and you would also sell that lighting. Same thing about, I'm sure there's 6 or 8 or 10 different, types of products that you could sell them that would increase their sales in the restaurant, increase the efficiency in laundry, and you know way more about this than I would. But the concept here is that you go in to the business, you apply these principles, and then naturally they're going to purchase some of those products, but they're not going to go online and find pricing for LED lighting. It's going to be part of your optimization recommendations. That's going to save them a ton of money. And you're already in there. You've already developed this checklist of products that they should be purchasing. It's kind of like how we use the 10 golden rules, that if you want us to execute the 10 golden rules for your business, it's more of a holistic best practices that we've developed over like 20 years. It's not, we don't just do like SEO or pay-per-click. We do the entire 10 golden rules application to your business. Let's see what other questions we have. Could I touch base on Google Maps again and how to optimize for the map box? All right, so I guess let's say the 3 most important things for Google Maps. I mean, number one, obviously you got to claim your map listing. So most businesses will have already done that. The second thing I mentioned is lots of reviews. So how do you get lots of reviews? Well, number one is you need, you can send people a request for a review. And in your Google My Business, in the back end of the GMB is a link that send people directly to your review site. So any of your happy customers, you want to send them that link. What we recommend for like professional services for law firms is give an incentive. Funny, I have one right here. Offer a $25 gift card to anyone who gets a 4 or 5-star review from a happy customer. Now you can't incent the customers, but you can have a promotion within your own staff. So you offer the gift card to your staff for any 4 or 5-star review. And then one of the attorneys who's really successful has a $1,000 prize at the Christmas party. And anytime you get a review, you get a ticket for the prize at the end of the year. So it's immediate incentive, long-term incentive, gamification, and there's also a number of tools you can use for reviews like Birdeye, and a number of other new companies have sprung up that help you get reviews and make it easier for the customer to fill out a review and track the best performers, like the 4 and 5 star reviews go on Google, and the 1 and 2 star reviews come back to you with comments, so you can get back to those customers and fix the problem they had. So that's reviews. The next thing is NAP. You need very consistent listings everywhere on the internet for the exact address for your firm. So you like, for example, our company is called 10 Golden Rules, and we're in Suite 216. So we can't have TEN Golden Rules on some listings and 10 Golden Rules on other listings, and number 216 and Suite 216 and Unit 216 on all the different listings. I know it sounds very similar, but Google's just a mathematical algorithm. So if all of your listings are incredibly precise, name, address, and phone number, very, very powerful. And then the final thing is having activity on your Google My Business, on your Google reviews. So I mentioned the cascading content strategy, where we write an article every week, or we shoot a video. Like we shoot 4 videos at the start of the month. Each video is transcribed. We create an article and a blog post each week. And then once a month, the 4 articles, the 4 videos go out as the e-newsletter. And every week, each of those articles and videos goes on the social media. So we've got a constant flow of SEO, search engine optimization. Our newsletter gets out on a regular basis. We're optimizing YouTube, and we're updating Google My Business. So that's the final piece, is we're taking that article every week, and Google recommends at least once a week you should put an update on your Google My Business. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed version 10.0 of the 10 Golden Rules. Please connect with me, obviously at 10 Golden Rules, tengoldenrules.com. I'm Jay Berkowitz on Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook and all the social media. And I look forward to getting to know you if I don't know you already. And love your comments down below if you're watching this on YouTube or on our blog. And thank you so much for taking part.